Kids TV shows were completely different in the 90s. It doesn't surprise me that people all over the internet are naming episodes from supposedly wholesome childhood shows that just so happen to traumatize them. I don't know about you, but Rugrats was one of those shows that had the tendency to scare me as a kid. The show had a load of episodes with moral lessons in them, but its way of teaching kids what's wrong and what's right was by throwing the characters, the toddlers, in the deep end. The deep end being terrifying positions, and leaving them confused as to why the scary shit that's happening to them is happening to them. They have to navigate their way out of these situations by using 2-year-old logic. I'm going to be talking about the episode The Last Babysitter, which is creepy as hell for kids, especially considering the fact that there's a book called the Monster Book in it, and inside that book is a terrifying creature that looks like the creepy pasta creature, the Rake. F***ing hell, we saw that skinny on a kids show in 1993 before we saw it on 4chan in 2005. You know what it looks like? The main character in that Irish movie, Waking Ned Devine.
Yes, right.
I think Rugrats was definitely influenced by a number of horror shows and movies, judging by the amount of horror-esque episodes it has. I think one of those shows might be the horror anthology show Tales from the Crypt, because Rugrats had 2 direct-to-video specials grouped into a set called Tales from the Crypt, which is obviously a pun on Tales from the Crypt. Ironically, in the episode Lower Birth from Tales from the Crypt Keeper calls the story A Tale from the Crib.
Tonight's sickening saga should be subtitled A Tale from the Crib,
which I thought was pretty funny. It just goes to show that the creators of Rugrats probably saw that episode and just thought, you know what, that's a good quote, let's steal it and use it for our TV specials. It doesn't matter though, it's smart, and I do love Rugrats, and I love Tales from the Crypt as well. So before we get into the episode we're talking about today, Last Babysitter, let's talk a bit about Rugrats in general. I'll start off by telling you that it has no business being as good as it is. I used to watch it on VHS back when I was a fetus, and it was one of my favourite shows. I think it was actually the only show I had on VHS because everything else I had was either on DVD or a hard drive. If you don't know already, or maybe you do but you're a forgetful or maybe you just want a refresher, or maybe you want me to shut the f*** up, well I'll tell you one thing, that's not happening, so I'll tell you this. Rugrats is a kids TV show that follows a bunch of babies and toddlers who use their baby imaginations to turn simple life concepts that we all know into overly complicated adventures. This is Tommy, he's the main baby and he always seems to lead the adventures. His younger brother is Dill, Angelica is Tommy's cousin, and she's a bit of a bitch. She always bosses the babies around and lies to them. The co-creator Paul Germain actually based her off a girl who used to beat him up in school. Chucky is Tommy's best friend. Phil and Lil are 2 very strange twins. And lastly, we have Susie, who's around Angelica's age. She always stands up to Angelica when she bullies the babies. Surprisingly, Phil, Lil and Chucky aren't in The Last Babysitter, the episode I'll be talking about today. This one focuses on Susie and her siblings because it's set inside their house. But Tommy is actually there visiting and he's the leader, of course. This episode is one of Rugrats' scariest and one that creeped me out as a kid. I actually binged a load of episodes in preparation for this video, and Last Babysitter turned out to be on another level in terms of kids horror. I mean, what else would we expect from a writer who has a genuine passion for monsters? Yeah, that's right, Peter Gaffney, the writer of this episode, went on to create the kids horror show, Real Monsters. Anyways, I'm Kai, welcome back to Crack Attack. And the episode opens up with the babysitter, who's actually Susie's sister, reading the big book of monsters to Tommy and Susie.
Oh no, is it? This is awful.
Fucking hell is it? We're not even 10 seconds in and we're already experiencing gut-wrenching horror. Could you imagine if she had a real problem? Alyssa shows the babies a monster called the Glorgle, who looks like one of the trolls if they got depressed and ate McDonald's every day. Never mind the Glorgle, that's a glorified testicle. Alyssa gets a phone call from her friend, so the babies read the monster book by themselves. And I could just keep going on and on with the analogies. This one looks like the Glob Glob Gab Galab if he was a foot. You know, maybe I'm being too generous. It looks like the shit I took this morning. Alyssa tells her friend on the phone that her mother won't let her go out for pizza tonight, and then she whines about how they treat her like a baby. The reason Alyssa is babysitting is because Tommy and Susie's dads are heading off to a rock opera. So Alyssa goes over to the kids to assert her authority, telling them that she's the one in charge now. She's the babysitter. She tells Sticky, her brother Buster's best friend, to go home because she doesn't want an extra child breathing down her neck. He's not her responsibility. On his way out the door, Buster tells Sticky,
"We'll show her."
So we all know now that he's got something evil planned, right? Tommy's worried that the monsters might come out and get them, but Susie says her sister can handle them, so it's alright. I don't think so, because she gets terrified when the phone rings multiple times. She answers and nobody is on the other end of the line, and then the lights go out. That's exactly the sequence of events that happens in the 1979 horror movie When a Stranger Calls. Alyssa says that she's not going to even bother calling her parents because they'll treat her like a child forever. And then this happens.
Oh no, what was that? It came from the basement. It's a monster.
You know, I said it in the intro, I'm gonna say it again. It was probably a bunch of rats knocking shit over. Buster squares up and heads off to the basement to check it out.
There goes one brave kid.
Yeah, he's my brother.
Are you sure about that? About him being brave, not being your brother, of course. Because Buster runs up those basement stairs like me on the way to the toilet when I get the shits. Buster says it might have been a person or...
Might have been something else.
See, this is exactly the type of stuff that gave me nightmares watching Rugrats as a kid. Baby Kai. Kai's my name, by the way. Baby Kai was like, something else?
Might have been something else.
Just terrified me. Of course, Susie and Tommy decide to go investigate. For some reason in their little baby brains, they're like, oh yeah, we definitely stand a chance against a giant f***ing monster. Even though that thing could potentially crush them like M&Ms.
Crushed between my fingers.
But first, they go upstairs to get the monster book. I don't know what other reason they'd need that for other than just seeing if the basement monster is in the book. But anyways, on their way... Hey, come back! You haven't even subscribed to the channel yet. Okay. This episode is rated U for all ages. But that can't be for all ages. Any movie or show that has a scene where there's a monster behind you and you don't even know it freaks me the hell out. And by the way, there's a monster behind you. They flick through some genuinely unsettling creatures in the book. And are you all ready for what's gonna come? Here's the one that looks like the creepypasta character, the Rake. They call him the Ooh Morph, and he likes the dark. That perfectly describes the Rake. The babies use crackers as bait and a net to catch the monster as if they're going fishing for salmon. And once again... this time they chase after the monster and find what they assume to be its hair. So they bring it down to Susie and she finds out that it's a wig from last Halloween. So then they go up to Buster's room and what would you know? The monster has been Sticky all along, taking the piss as revenge on Alyssa for telling him to go home. So now this...
We'll show her.
Makes complete sense. This time Alyssa makes sure that he definitely does go home. And we end the episode with Susie telling Tommy that monsters do exist.
Are there no monsters anywhere?
Of course there are monsters. Just not in our basement.
You know what, I would have expected the episode to end with the kids coming to a conclusion that monsters don't exist at all. But ending with the line, monsters do exist, is traumatizing. Imagine a kid whose parents always tell them that monsters don't exist watching this. And then they're like, Mommy and Daddy are lying to me, monsters do exist. And then controversy just spews in the household. Well, that was a great episode and it was actually really fun. If I'm being honest, the only parts I actually remember from being a kid are the scariest parts. The other instances just exited my brain. I know I was joking about the monsters from the monster book at the start, but I'm an adult. Those could make any kid shit their pants. When the phone kept ringing over and over again and there was no one else on the other line, that was creepy as hell. That's some paranormal activity right there. And then when Buster vigorously ran up the stairs to get away from the monster, and then we get a quick view of the monster's perspective. That's enough to give any kid the heebie-jeebies. And of course, the 2 times we see the monster lurking behind the babies. That's quite scary. I could keep going going on because this episode had so many horror movie tropes. Overall, I think it's one of the scariest Rugrats episodes out there. Although the mysterious Mr. Friend, Down the Drain, Angelica's Nightmare, and In the Dreamtime come pretty close. I'll talk about them too soon, by the way, so if you want to see that, subscribe. Anyways, thanks for watching, that's me for the day. If you want me to cover any other episodes from Rugrats, then list them in the comments. And if you want me to cover any other episodes from other shows, also list them in the comments. Chances are I already have them on the list, but you know, I'll take what I can get. Right, nice one, I'll see ya.